And now, after years of planning, sweating, and going broke, here is the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
I'll alert the media.
Why they would give this man a podcast is anyone's guess.
Then there is what could only be a bizarre coincidence or something else.
Welcome to the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Country music and fine moonshine. Finally, a podcast that lets it all hang out.
Let's level with America.
Got your boots? Ready for some whiskey?
These boots are made for walking.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
And now, the Boots and Whiskey Podcast with Jim Belisle.
Hey everyone, Jim here, Boots and Whiskey Podcast. Thank you for being here today. In this 4th of July week, we have Pecos and the Rooftops. Pecos and the Rooftops. Why do I always do that? Why is it? Why does our brain do that? Anyway, we know it's wrong. We do it anyway. But anyway, Pecos to the Rooftops is here. Pecos Hurley is our guest today. A big thank you to him and his team for having us out last Thursday night at the Sinclair in Cambridge. Great show. It's always great to see those guys because they never come up here, or they don't come up here very often. Maybe once a year, once every year and a half, whatever. The last time they were here was May, we saw of last year. So yeah, it's been, that amount of time. So a big thank you to them. Big thank you to the team to have us out and get this conversation recorded. Last year we did one with Garrett and Brandon, the drummer and former guitar player for the Rooftops. So go check that out. That was a great episode. But this one is with the man himself. So we hope you enjoy it. And if it's your first time here, welcome. If it's your millionth time here, welcome back. Check out all of our socials if you haven't. It's Boots and Whiskey Podcast on everything. And then bootsandwhiskeyentertainment.com is the website. We will have a review coming of this show. It's done. It's ready. I just got to post it. I'm lazy as fuck. And we have a George Strait one from the weekend before. So those are coming. I promise. I just got to put the artwork together and get it out. So thank you for being here. Sit back, relax, enjoy the conversation. There's some good stuff in here that it is interesting. Some album stuff, some stuff about life. Like it's cool. It's really cool. So big thank you again to all those guys over there in that camp, and we hope you enjoy the show. We'll see you on the flip side. Cheers, guys. Okay, this is great. This, like I said, this is the most informal interview you'll ever do in your life. I'm going to get comfortable because I'm old. Yeah. I'm not hitting on you.
No, you're good. All good.
Well, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks.
It's I've been listening to you guys for what feels like since I started this 4 years ago, and this is the only second time I've seen you. So for me, that sucks, but for you, that's great because you're doing other shit.
Yeah.
So what's been going on? What have you been doing? How do you get here?
Nothing. I mean, we've just been playing shows and staying busy. I've been staying busy writing and getting the album done. We got an album coming out the next couple of months. We got a song coming out the 11th, July 11th, and the first half of the album will drop, a couple of weeks after that. But been working on that a bunch, been writing a bunch, and on the road a bunch, so between all that and a couple days we get home, it stays pretty busy.
Yeah. Now, we do a lot of stuff with Texas artists because I prefer that shit over the radio shit. Now, you listen to you guys and your band, and it is, you fall under this, country music umbrella, right? But I would argue you guys are like the furthest thing from country music there is, sound-wise, right? How do you navigate that? Like, do you give a shit what you're labeled as? Do you, are you just
not really? I don't really care. Whatever people want to label it, whatever makes them feel better, But I don't even know what to label it. Really, I just tell people like Texas rock, or something. I don't really know what to call it. I just like making the music that I like.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it for me. I don't really care what it's labeled as.
So why do you think they label it? Why do you guys, Code, the list can go on, right? Why do you guys fall under that umbrella? Is it because of where you're from?
I think that has a lot to do with it, like where we're from and what our voice sounds like. You know, you're gonna hear a little bit of country in our voices, but and then you got the music contrasting that with a bunch of rock stuff. So I don't know. I guess that's why. Yeah. But I also don't mind making like actual country music. You know, I love country music, but yeah, I think that's a lot to do with it. Where we're from, being from Texas, and you know, kind of, I don't know if we look country or what, but I feel like there's got to be some kind of sound that people hear that, you know, just draws you to that country genre.
Right. I mean, forget about the sound, right? The songs, the lyrics, you know, everything the songs say, heartbreak, you know, being in love, being out of love, drinking beer, whatever, right? You guys have it. Like, the lyrics are country as heartbreak.
Yeah.
You know. Now, when you're coming up doing this thing, how do you personally start off?
What do you mean?
Like, when you start picking up guitar and start writing tunes, like, how did you decide this is what I'm going to do?
I don't know. I always loved music growing up, but I wasn't really in a musical family. So I got my first guitar. Actually, got my first guitar when I was about 7, and that didn't last very long because I didn't have nobody to teach me. Just had this little book that taught you like Christmas carols and shit like that. And I wore my sister out with that little book, and like I knew it was bothering her, so I just stopped because I knew I wasn't getting anywhere with it. And so I ended up getting another guitar in high school, like right before my junior year of high school, and actually started learning, you know, chords and stuff like that. And once I kind of got into that, I started learning songs that I liked and stuff like that. And when I was real young, I remember trying to write this song. I was probably, you know, like 8, and I tried to write this song, and it was like almost exactly He Stopped Loving Her Today. So I was like, wait, this sounds familiar. Like, I feel like there's already a song. So that was the first time I tried to write, and then I didn't try again until probably like 2015 or so. And that's when I kind of was like, I really like songwriting, you know. And then I moved out. Right before I moved out to Lubbock, I started doing gigs around Northeast Texas, like in Commerce at the Drunken Mule. That was my first like solo show, you know. And I played acoustic and didn't really know how to promote shows and stuff like that. I just put on Facebook, you know, like, hey, I'm playing at the Mule Saturday, go come out, and like it packed out. And I was like, oh shit, this is really fun. Like I had a blast. And so then I, you know, just kept writing. And there was about a month there before I moved out to West Texas, where me and my buddy Will just sat on my mom's back porch and drank beer for like a month straight and wrote songs. And wrote Wouldn't Have to Miss You and Leave Me Lonely out there on that porch, and moved out to Lubbock and was trying to get gigs and wasn't really getting any emails back. Or, you know, I'd go to the places and they would say, you know, our manager's not here. I know your manager's here. And so it was hard for me to get, you know, spots in Lubbock to play. And they had like a songwriter night on Mondays at the Blue Light. And they had songwriter competitions there as well, and I entered that twice and played this damn song. Didn't make it past the first round either time. Really? Yeah, and it was just tough. Yeah, and so it was just hard. And then I would play at World of Beer, do acoustic stuff, just here and there, wherever I could get my foot in the door. I was the first show at World of Beer in Lubbock just because I was just so like wanted to so bad. And so ended up saving some money up and recording this damn song. It had been written for probably a year before I did anything with it, but I knew it was floating around that Texas scene. Yeah. And actually the guy that's filling in with us on guitar this run is the one that played guitar on it. And when I took it to the studio, I played it just so they could like get familiar with it, and he was like, I've heard this song. Like, this is like circulating Texas right now. And I was like, oh, that's sick. like, all right, let's record it and like get it out and put it out. And you know, by then I had decided like I would really love to do this. And even growing up, I knew like this was my dream. But where I'm from, it's not really a realistic dream. And so around that time when I recorded it was when I was like, all right, I'm going to just full send this and see what happens. And it got like 10,000 streams on Spotify its first week. And I was nobody in the Texas scene at that time. So I was like, okay, like something's happening. You know, something cool is happening. And that was about the time when I was like, all right, I'm doing this. This is what I'm going to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, when you're, you know, you said you don't come from like a musical family, but when you were growing up, were your parents, what were they listening to get you, you know, like where you get your influence from?
Yeah. Oh, man. So my mom's side of the family is a little bit musical. Like, the women in the family, my mom and all her sisters and my grandmother can all play the piano and they can sing. And my granddad, you know, led the hymns and stuff at our little Baptist church where, you know, probably 20 people would show up on Sunday. And so that was probably when I was first like, that's cool. You know, that's cool that they can do that. And, but what they listened to, like, my mom listened to, like, obviously, like, George Strait and Alan Jackson and all the older, like pure country, you know, legends and Merle Haggard and all that. But she also listened to, like, Nelly and Eminem and the Beastie Boys and all kinds of, like, rap stuff. Yeah. Wow. And then my dad was, like, he liked the, you know, traditional country stuff. And like that, he's how I kind of got into classic rock, like AC/DC and Metallica and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But between them and my nana, who was into like the Motown stuff, you know, I kind of heard all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
When I was growing up.
So now you mentioned this damn song, right? Now, from when you first write that song to today, how much of that song has changed? Has any of that song changed?
No.
Nothing.
No, Kaylin, when we were sitting there in their apartment that night, I was just like playing around on acoustic, and he had the chorus already in his notes. Like he just had, you know, those couple of lines, and I was just playing these chords, and he was like, keep playing that, and he's saying through the chorus, and I was like, dude. I was like, is that all you have of that? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, do you care if I like mess with that? Like, put some verses on that and like just make it into a song? And he was like, sure. And he sent me the words, and I went home to my apartment that night and wrote verses out in about 30, 40 minutes. And it hasn't, a single word hasn't changed since then.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Like it was.
You know, it always fascinates me when artists have songs like that, even like the older ones, and as time goes by, they don't, you know, they don't fuck with it because they don't have to.
No.
You know. Now, since then to now, and all the songs you've written in between, you know, do you have ones that like stand out that, you know, to you stand out that maybe haven't gotten the plays through Spotify or wherever that you wish they would have?
Yeah, but I don't think, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it besides just keep on writing and keep on, like, getting better, you know? Like, I think there's a handful of, like, really good ones that was put out that are better writing than this damn song, you know? But it just, like, it's not up to me, you know? So I'll just keep on writing new stuff and, you know, being real in my writing, and that's what you do as an artist. You just do the best you can and keep going forward with it, really.
Now, on the flip side, you have songs that have, you know, the streams and have blown up, and you go, how the hell did that one make it and not others?
Yeah. Well, like, Rock Song, the last song we put out, like, I wasn't even going to put it out. I wasn't even going to put it on the album or anything, and, like, Jade liked it, and the label liked it, and everybody around me liked it, and I was like, well, it's good, you know, like I think it's a good song, but you know?
Right.
And so eventually I was like, okay, yeah, it's catchy and all this stuff, so put it out, and it's doing better than any new song that we've put out today, you know. But other than that, like I try to be intentional about my writing and the way songs end up sounding and stuff like that. So, you know, if they do super well, then I'm just gonna be like, okay, good.
Right.
You know, I'm on the right track. You know, that felt good to me too. You know, but yeah, not a lot surprises me, I guess.
Yeah, well, now, as a writer, right, when songs do well, is there a level of pressure for you personally where it's like, shit, now I gotta write a song that's just as good?
Oh, it's been my whole career.
Yeah.
You know, the first one brought that pressure
Yeah.
on, you know, so it's that pressure has been there ever since this all started to follow up good stuff, you know. So, I mean, that's not anything new. It's just kind of, you just got to handle it and keep working,
Yeah.
you know.
Now, this new album that's coming out, how long has this been in the works? Are these songs that have been kind of floating there that are just finally ready to go?
Yeah, well, some of them, most of them were written probably last year, I would say. And we went to El Paso to Sonic Ranch in about, what was it, November? Or August? Yeah, it was sometime like towards the end of last year. And recorded 12 of them. And that was when we were kind of like, all right, we probably need a few more. And it turned into, I think, about 14 or 15. And I just kept writing and ended up liking a couple more for the album. And so, like, we're just now getting those wrapped up and, like, mastered and stuff to where, like, it's pretty much done. You know, like, all my parts are done on it. You know, it's just got to get, like, mastered, the last couple songs. But, you know, there's a song on there that was wrote, like, probably 2 or 3 years ago now that I just hadn't put out, and like it fits, you know, it's a good song, and like it's gonna go on there. And then there's songs that I wrote probably 2 or 3 months ago that are gonna be on tracks, you know. So it's kind of a good mix of the last couple of years.
So now, once it comes out, what is the plan to get it out to the masses? Is it going to be a major tour? Is there going to be?
Yeah, I mean, we stay on the road, so we'll be touring for it and playing it live and all that stuff. But I mean, other than that, social media is such a big thing now. Like TikTok, shout out TikTok. I mean, it's so important for your advertising and your marketing side of things to be active on social media these days. Like, it's key to pushing an album or pushing new music in general. But yeah, I think staying relevant, staying consistent, and releasing stuff plays a huge role today in how your music is received.
Yeah. You know, everything we do. I mean, I know even on my side of it, like the social media part, that in itself is a full-time job.
Yeah.
You know, it's brutal. It's brutal. Now, are there parts of this that you do, you know, day in and day out that are, you know, you look forward to? Like, what is the best part of your day when it comes to, you know, who you are as an artist?
I've never been asked that. I think the best part is the feeling after you get off stage.
Yeah.
You know, like knowing your day is done, knowing like everyone had a good time, everyone had fun, loved the show, and just knowing you don't have any more responsibility.
Right.
You can just go chill the rest of the day. You don't have anything else planned out. You can just go take a shower, you know, eat dinner, and relax.
Yeah. Now, as you've traveled the country and done all these shows, have you, outside of Texas and, you know, those states, where are you seeing a bigger response than you anticipate?
I think the West Coast. Apparently, the East Coast and the West Coast are hard markets for like Texas music. You know, like the further you get from the central U.S., the harder it is to sell tickets. And the first time we went on the West Coast, every time we've gone to the West Coast has been a blast. Like the venues have been full, the crowd's been awesome, and I would say I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
You know, so I would have to say the West Coast.
What do you think it is about the West Coast?
I have no idea. No clue.
Because it's funny because it's like you guys, like we said, the list can go on, right? Like we have a hard time up here, especially New England, getting, you guys to come up here for whatever reason. And it's like, last summer I sat in Gillette and watched Zach Bryan play to 60,000 people, no radio, no nothing. I've seen Shane Smith come up here now the last few years, and every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, I don't want you to talk for anybody, but like, is there a level of fear for you guys to come up here and take a chance?
I don't know. I mean, this is our first time up here, so I don't know what it is. I think we know where we can sell tickets for sure.
Sure, yeah.
I think like this is basically us testing, the waters up here this far northeast to see, how often we should come back up here and stuff like that. And I mean, that all starts with the first show, like you got to put on a good first show up here in these markets to get people coming back and talking and telling their friends, next time we're in town. Stuff like that is really important. So,
because when I saw this show get listed, like I like lost my mind because I love you guys are great. Yeah, and I never wear like band shirts to shows because I think it's the corniest thing. But like, it's just one of those things where you have, especially when you do something like this and you hear all these bands, especially outside of New England, right, where nobody knows you, not in like a negative way.
Yeah,
but, you guys aren't playing on the radio.
Yeah,
and radio up here is still viable somehow.
Yeah.
And, so I'm always trying to just push all, everybody, you guys, everybody else out of the Texas scene to, just keep, like, I just want you to come.
Yeah.
Because selfishly, because I want to see it, but, like, because it's, you guys need to, that's why I do this show. So to give you guys a platform to, outside of maybe where you want.
Yeah.
It's great to see you. It's great to have you here. It's awesome to do this. I appreciate your time, man. I know show days suck. Like they're the worst.
No, that's fine. It's all good.
Yeah. So with everything going on, what can you tell us about the album to come? What to expect? When to expect it? How to keep track of everything going on?
Yeah. So we're doing 2 parts. The first half, part 1, will come out a couple weeks after Burn Pile, which is coming out July 11th. And the second part will be later on this year. It'll come out. But, I mean, I would expect a good mix of rock, like more upbeat stuff, and then, there's still going to be the more songwritery, ballady stuff in there. I personally feel like it's the best songwriting that I've put out to date, and I think there's some great songs on it, and I hope people, receive them well, and hope they love them just as much as I do. I was really selective on what songs I wanted to put on it and which ones I didn't. So I'm excited to get it out and see what unfolds after that. But yeah, it'll be a new kind of sound a little bit, and some of it's kind of getting back to the roots, that more Texas red dirt sound.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm pumped about it.
Now, is there a story to it? Is that why there's 2 parts, or is it you trying to put one sound in one and then?
That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Because after we recorded it, there was, there was rock songs, and then there was more, really genuine, heartfelt stuff on the other parts, on the other songs, and so after I talked to the label a little bit about it, it just made sense. Yeah, to do 2 parts, and I thought it'd be cool to do it that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, right, and the way things go, and some artists love to just throw all 37 fucking songs out at a time.
Yeah.
Was there a talk about that too? Just put them both out at the same time and just saying, see what happens?
Originally, it was just going to be one when it was like 12 songs, I think. But then just kept adding to them. And 2 parts is definitely easier to digest, I feel like, for the listeners, you know.
Yeah.
I think, 8 songs at a time, 8 or 9 songs at a time, will, draw more attention to those songs when they get released. And that's kind of what I wanted with it, I don't think there isn't any filler songs in there, so I think it's a good plan, and it helps us keep something in our pocket too. Like we'll put part 1 out and still have the rest of it to put out, and I'll be writing in the meantime. We'll probably have the next one wrote before the second half of this one's out. So yeah, I think it's a good plan.
It's awesome. Well, man, like I said, I know show days are crazy, so I thank you for just taking the time that you have.
Absolutely.
And it's great to see you again.
Yeah.
We look forward to the show for sure, and it means the world for you to let us do this. And I appreciate it.
For sure.
Yeah, John. Thanks, man. Thanks. That's it.
What y'all fools doing? Queen J.
Well, there you have it, everyone. Our conversation with Pecos Hurley from Pecos on the Rooftops. So again, thank you so much, guys, for being on and doing the thing. It was a lot of fun. The show was great too. Can't wait to see you guys again. Hopefully, it's sooner than a year and some change from now. What else? What do we got? 4th of July this week. I don't think we have any shows. We did get some news that we will be joining Thomas Rhett at Fenway for that. Their PR team has reached out to us, so we're going to go do that. And that's about it. Next week, we have another episode on Tuesday. I think that's going to be Chris Poag from Whiskey Myers Camp. So that's going to be a good one. We have a lot of stuff that needs to come out. Again, for those of you that have been on the show and recorded and haven't come out yet, I apologize. It's just, I'm also trying to take some time off for the summer, but here we are. So thank you again. Have a great week. Enjoy your 4th. We'll see you next Tuesday. Cheers, guys. Be good to each other.